Hey, what's up guys? I just posted the video showing my Smoky Mountain Knife Works order, and this is going to be kind of a follow-up video to that. I want to show you the two knives that I got, as well as just a quick breakdown on the price for that order. Already got a couple questions on how much I mentioned that the case was under 40 bucks, but people want to know exactly how much, and how much were the knives, stuff like that. So what I have here is just a breakdown on cost. The display cases, which I don't have shown in this video, but that's up top there on the list. That's a display oak case with the black insert, and dimensions are 12 by 18 by 2, and that was $34.99. I got two of them, so it came to $70. The Colt titanium coated 6-blade Stockman here was $17.99. Very affordable, very cool knife. And the Kissing Crane mini toothpick in Stag was $14.99. Okay, just so you guys know, those are the prices if you're interested in these kinds of things. So what I wanted to do, and the reason I bought these two knives here, is because I wanted to get into slip joints a little bit more. If you're not familiar, a slip joint knife is basically a non-locking folding knife. Could have one blade like this, could have multiple blades or tools like the Colt there. Basically you have a back spring, or the spine behind the blade here is what gives the pressure. Okay, the tang of the blade underneath here in the handle, which you can't see, is shaped so that it pushes this out, and then of course it kind of snaps open. It's not actually locked. There's no locking mechanism here whatsoever. Okay, but there is tension, so it doesn't want to close very easily. Okay, so it stays open. That's a slip joint. There's a whole bunch of different types of slip joints, different designs, different styles, and they all have different names. Over the years, they go back a long time. These were the types of knives that people carried in their pocket way before anyone even knew what tactical was. And I've always had an interest in slip joints, and my problem is that I've always wanted to collect them, but the collector in me, I always wanted to pick a specific type, and there's just so many. There's dozens of different patterns, and if you don't really know too much about slip joints, go onto Google and do a search. Just type in slip joint patterns, Patterns, and you'll probably see websites that have good information on that. I wish I had a Smoky Mountain Knife Works catalog, but they didn't send me one with my order. Otherwise, I'd just flip through and show you a couple different styles. But just to name a few, you have Stockmans, canoe patterns, muskrats, Barlows, all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. I first got the idea in my head to pick one specific pattern because of my friend Scott here on YouTube, who started the iknifecollectors.com. He also has a website called Elephant Toenail. And Elephant Toenail is a specific type of slip joint, also known as a sunfish pattern. And it's a very unique type of slip joint knife. And so after I started getting in touch with Scott and talking with him and just visiting his website, it kind of rekindled my interest for slip joint knives. And it's been a while. I kind of put it off a little bit, but I wanted to go ahead and pick a pattern and start collecting them and show you guys my collection as it kind of evolves and as I start getting new knives. And you know what? It's just too hard to pick one. So I picked my two favorite types of slip joint patterns. One is a traditional Stockman, but the only catch is I'm going to be collecting Stockmans with 6 or more blades. Okay? Basically, it's a Swiss Army knife, but it has nothing but knives. And each knife does serve a purpose. Different blades, different sizes, different shapes and styles do all have a specific purpose. Okay? Yes, anything sharp can cut, but certain types of knife blades, are better at certain tasks. And I've always thought that these big old, 6-bladed Stockmans have been very unique. And they make them with more. Sometimes you'll see a 7 or even an 8-bladed Stockman, but they're a little bit more rare. 6 is kind of hard to find as it is, so I figured because it's a little bit rare, it'd be cool to start collecting these. And I'll talk more about this in just a second. But besides that, I also wanted to pick the Texas mini toothpick, just because I think it's a really classy knife. It's very small. These are not as rare as a 6-bladed Stockman, so it's going to be easier to have a wider variety in my collection. The regular 2-bladed Trapper, which has a spay blade and a clip point blade, which I do not have pictured here, but imagine this knife here with just this large clip point and this spay blade, but you know, this size, basically just a two-bladed Stockman. That's probably the most common slip joint there is on the planet. I mean, every company that makes slip joints has probably multiple regular full-size trapper models. But anyway, I always like the unique and the rare, so that's why I picked these two types. So from now on, I'm going to start collecting. I mean, on top of my other stuff, this is not going to be all the time. Occasionally, when I pick up a new, you know, tactical knife that I like to carry, I may pick up a new slip joint for my collection. But I got those two display cases because one's going to house all of my little toothpicks, and my other one's going to house my six-bladed or more Stockmans. So anyway, let me get into some specifics. I do have the macro mode on here, so hopefully this will come in and focus. This is the kissing crane. As you saw from the price tag, very affordable, under $20. You see their shield there. It's basically two red cranes. And this one has a genuine stag handle scales on it. Okay, nickel silver bolsters. And of course, just brass pin construction. And it still has a sticker on the back. This one happened to be made in China, which doesn't bother me. It's an affordable piece, but came razor sharp, very, very thin stock. I mean, these knives to actually carry as pocket little EDC knives, although they're slow to deploy. I mean, basically you just have a little nail nick here. That's how you get the blade out. Very traditional. No thumb studs, no assisted opening. I mean, a lot of the old school guys really appreciate these types of knives, but I certainly do too. And I just really wanted to start this little mini series and talking about slip joints and showing my future models to kind of get the younger generations into it, because it's kind of a, I don't want to say it's a dying art, because there's still plenty of people out there who like slip joint knives, but I think the tactical knife scene has grown so much that it's put these types of knives in the shadows. And I just want to kind of bring them out again for people to discover. If you're new to knives in general, it's really cool to be exposed to these types of knives, because this is probably what your father or grandfather or great-great-grandfather had. So anyway, I really like this design. Very acute point. This, like I said, would make a great EDC knife. I mean, as long as you're not looking for a quote-unquote self-defense knife, something you can grab in a hurry and be very effective with, this is a great utility knife. Like I said, fine point. Some of the lighter tasks you don't want to beat on this blade because it is so fine and such a thin stock. You're very prone to snapping that tip off if you're really rough with it. But as far as not having a lock, not an issue for me. As long as you take care of what you're doing and you're safe, you don't really need a lock in a knife. I mean, for the average person, you're not going to use a knife heavy enough to really need a super duper lock, you know. We get kind of caught up in the idea of having the perfect lock, you know, the best, strongest lock. What do you do with your knives, you know? Ask yourself, do I really need a massive, massive, you know, titanium frame lock to open that letter, you know, or open that box full of new knives? So, anyway, that's the Kissing Crane. Very good quality. There's a bunch of new knives I want to get in the future that are very affordable. Rough Rider is a great company if you're going to start getting into this stuff. They sell a lot of different slip joint patterns for under $10. Steel Ocean, or excuse me, not Steel Ocean, Steel Warrior, which is a subdivision of Frost Cutlery. And Frost Cutlery has never been impressive for me anyway, but their Steel Warrior line is just fantastic. And in fact, I have an old video when I first started here showing a couple of their locking trappers, I believe. But anyway, that's the one knife, and of course more people are probably interested in this Colt knife. This has a black wood inserts on both sides, the handle scales. Okay, and the Colt logo here is just basically a stainless steel. This also has nickel silver bolsters and a little bit of crimping work in it. And each blade is titanium nitride coated, very similar to, you know, some of the Kershaw stuff. If you have, you know, blacked out Kershaw leak or something, it's the same process, same coating. And like I said, there's 6 knives in this one, 6 blades, I should say. You have a large clip point blade, a large drop point. You have a medium-sized Warncliffe blade. You have a small drop point, small clip point, and then a small spay blade. Now, a spay blade is actually very useful, and like I said, you could have a large one in most two-bladed trappers. And the reason for this style is so that when you can actually dig out a little hole. You would put, you know, straight into your wood or whatever you're digging, and basically just kind of spin it back and forth, and it would just dig a nice symmetrical hole for you. But very, very cool. Basically, this is 6 different knives in your pocket in a nice, tidy, cool-looking package. That darn battery gets me every time. Alright, you didn't really miss much. Basically, I just closed this side of the knife here. I just want to show you the boxes these came with. Now, when you are opening these 6-bladed knives, or even if you have like a 2 or 3-bladed slip joint, be careful, because sometimes, and if you guys know, if you have some old slip joints from your family that have been handed down, some of these blades can be really tough to get out. And if you have a blade out already, okay, that's nice and sharp, and you go to try to get another one out, and it sticks, you get to fling your hand over and slice yourself open. And I've done it plenty of times with Swiss Army knives. So just be careful, you know, when handling these. Especially this one, because they're very similar models, because of the fact that it does have 6 blades. This is actually a really nice box they sent with this one. It's basically just a thick cardboard. The front flap is magnetized, okay, so it stays shut via a magnet on the inside. And it's felt lined, the picture of Samuel Colt. Oops, sorry, that's not in frame. There you go. And it nestles very nicely in here. So as a little display piece, it's pretty cool for under 20 bucks. But again, I'm not interested in the boxes because I'm going to display it in those cases. Kiss It Crane box, not as definitely not as fancy. Just basically a storage box here. And that's pretty much it. So, just like I said, just wanted to introduce some of the younger guys and gals getting into knives. I want to talk a little bit about slip joints and basically explain to you my new sub-hobby. I've always been into knives, I always will be into knives, but now I'm just taking a little bit of a new direction. And don't be confused, it doesn't mean that I'm only going to have these. I still love my tactical folders because of the fact that they're convenient, they're one-hand opening, they're fast to deploy. There's lots of different benefits of a tactical knife over a slip joint. This is just an additional hobby within my knife hobby. So, anyway, just want to share it with you guys. Thanks for watching as always, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.